All right. Welcome, folks. Today we are talking about a new and exciting search engine. So, the world of search has been pretty stagnant for a while, and so much so that I didn't even think about alternatives to the Google until I was in college, and one of my good friends, he showed me DuckDuckGo, and it was a different world. But recently I've been following Daring Fireball, and he was talking about the early part of Google, referencing this morning Google article, and he talked about this new search engine called Kagi. I don't know if that's even the right way to say it, but it's super cool. It's basically Google if they had charged for search. And right, there's a lot of trade-offs with that, right? There's a lot of interesting things that would have happened had that been the case. There's a lot of wonderful things that have happened from Google search being free, right? Google wouldn't have been a verb had it not been free. But I think it's really interesting to start to see a bunch of companies kind of crop up, especially with the rise of AI, trying to take on Google. So I want to talk through Kagi. I actually do pay for Kagi. I've been using it for about, I guess, the past 2 weeks now, and I dig it. It's great. I mean, it doesn't take care of all of my needs. I still use some other search engines, but I just want to walk you through kind of the cool things I'm seeing with Kagi so far. So the real theme and the real benefit for me is customizability. So Google is a pretty straightforward experience, and Kagi lets you do a lot of interesting things. So first of all, you can customize the entire visuals. You can change the colors. I'm a light mode person, so that's what I'm doing here. It has kind of the AI stuff you'd expect, so you can do a quick answer. I need to learn how to enable it all the time. Apparently, it's using Cloud 3, which is very interesting. So you can do a quick answer if you want to and use that AI stuff. You can see quick peeks. So you're seeing a lot of familiar things from Google, right? One thing you'll notice is there's no ads, right? So you're not sifting through a bunch of these ads at the start. You still see this little speed indicator, which I like. I don't know what unique Kagi results means, but I like to see that. Now, what's interesting, again, you can see this is very googly, right? We're used to this. We can do our filtering and all that fun stuff. I don't know what this is. That's kind of fun. But what's really fun is there's a couple wrinkles. So you can change the search algorithm. So you can say, let's optimize it for programming. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm comparing Java and Go, right? And you see, I get pretty different results here. So Touring Blog is the top one here. We've got a Medium article, some random other blogs. And here we see Hacker News, which I like. I'm really excited about that. We see, of course, our favorite Stack Overflow. And it's really constrained, which I find is interesting. But these are called lenses, so the different ways of looking into search. So the small web is something I've been looking for a long time. I actually used to use a search engine called Marginalia that did that, which is really fun. But Marginalia was that. That was all you got out of the search engine. And so one of the things I like about Kagi so far is I can kind of tailor it to what I'm looking for at the time. So really interesting stuff, really fun. It's pretty quick and it gives great results. So one of the dirty secrets, in my opinion, of DuckDuckGo is it uses Bing under the hood. Bing, in my opinion, kind of sucks. So you get really bad search results. So far, Kagi has been kind of on par with Google in terms of results. I haven't noticed a huge difference. Now, so that's one way of customizing the algorithm. Another way, which I find really, really exciting, is it shows you can kind of customize which domains you want to show up and why, and whether you want them to be raised or even pinned so you're always seeing it. So once again, you're getting a ton of customization in the algorithm, which is really, really interesting. So just looking at, I guess, apparently Pinterest and a lot of people lower. I'm going to go ahead and lower Quora because I never find anything interesting there. I don't want Facebook crap. I don't know. I don't want Instagram or TikTok. I don't use those. So you can really, really, really customize the way you use this. And these are interesting. As you can tell, lots of developers are using this. That's kind of the theme. Um, yeah. Okay. So that's kind of the end of the demo, right? Now I'm going to get to part of the video where I talk about business. I compare against other products. So if you just wanted to see about Kagi, that's it. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to now dive into starting with the business, right, as I do. We're going to talk about Crunchbase, see how much money they've raised, how long they've been around. So what I'm really interested here is the founding date. So this is 2018. I mean, that's a strange time to take on a search engine, to take on Google, right? Google, I'd be love to hear more about why they started at this time. Right, this is pre-COVID, this is pre-bubble. Very interesting. It's a bold move. I love it. So they've been around for 6 years now. Let's see. They're based in, surprise, surprise, Palo Alto. Undisclosed. It's a pretty tiny company, which makes sense. We'll get into the numbers here in a minute. And it looks like they have raised one round of funding, which is really impressive. That was only in 2023, so they went 5 years. I don't know if they were bootstrapped or what. Very interesting stuff so far. So this is not your traditional VC company, which makes it really surprising. Search is really difficult, and I'm impressed that they're doing this. Now, we're going to go back to the stats here, and this is really interesting. So they're at 30,000 paying members. They've got about 3,000 families. They're getting about 500,000 queries a day, and this Orion Plus is their browser, right? So I wonder if I can look and see. I guess I can't really see that far back. I would love to edit this and really look way farther back. Apparently this family plan is, no, this is a bad graph. Not taking off, but um, lots of interesting data here, right? But 30,000 is a drop in the bucket. This is not much. I wish I was trying to see DuckDuckGo's user stats, but I think the browser market is like 91% Google, and I think Bing is probably second there with like 3 or 4%. DuckDuckGo takes a little slice, but this is really a Google dominant market. This is a very niche product. I really like, as a developer, they have an API that I'm going to start using. Exa, which is another product I use, also has an API. That's the one I'm using right now, and I might change that. Exa is free, Kagi is not. We'll see. Okay, so that's their scale. I want to do a direct comparison with Google real quick. So Kagi's doing 500,000 queries, I think it was per day, right? As a whole, like an entire company. And Google, just for the search term year 2024, did 500,000 searches in the last 24 hours, right? So the scale, like one search term on Google equals all of Kagi's traffic, right? And they're different business models, right? Google has to have really high volume to make any money. Kagi is trying to do paid search, which is a very different model. I don't know if it's going to work. But also trends.google.com. I don't spend enough time on here. This is really interesting. So it's a drop in the bucket. It's raised a very small amount of money, which means I guess they're profitable and they're bootstrapped. They're a pretty small company. I think it's really impressive they're taking on Google. I don't know that they'll ever get to any amount of market share. I think this is going to forever stay a niche business. But really, really cool. And to be honest, I think when you're looking at this versus DuckDuckGo, Kagi is taking kind of the quality branding positioning. DuckDuckGo obviously is taking the privacy. So this was just an interesting little thing that DuckDuckGo is doing, is trying to do private AI. I don't know how they're pulling this off. I think Apple's doing a similar thing with their Apple Intelligence. This is super interesting. I didn't know DuckDuckGo was doing this, but yeah. So as I said earlier, here's DuckDuckGo. It looks pretty similar to Kagi. I actually think it looks a little bit better. Kagi's got great branding, but DuckDuckGo is really good at what they do. And I think that they've got this privacy angle, but I think there's room for the quality angle. Like I said before, DuckDuckGo is using Bing. Let's just take a look at Bing and remember what we're dealing with here. It's pretty bad. This is a pretty terrible user interface, in my opinion. It's cluttered. It has a lot going on. I guess we're going to look at the US Open. Oh, I have Kagi set as my default. So and they have a Chrome extension that redirects. So we can't even see that. So these are our kind of big three in terms of real search engines. We've got, I guess, four: Bing, Google, DuckDuckGo, and Kagi. Now I want to talk about just kind of an offshoot that I really enjoy, which is these kind of AI enhanced search engines. I think they're really doing cool stuff. I think Kagi's dipping their toe into this, but for the most part, Exa and Perplexity, the two I'm going to touch on, are very different products, right? And so Exa, what they're doing is trying to use, well, I guess using embeddings to understand meaning, right? So you can search with natural language. So like a great search is a short article about the early days of Google. So you can specify a lot of really interesting stuff. And then what's really fun is you can start to chat with the results, which is really cool. You can see similar, which I love. So if you're on a tangent, you can start really digging down into it. You can dig into more info, get a summary. I love this where you can find conversations and some of the results right here. So it's a very different vibe, right? You're not searching for an answer. You're maybe searching for an interesting article, something longer form. That's where Exa thrives. And then Perplexity, I think, is the perfect mix so far. I find myself using it more and more of this kind of chat and search. So great search quality and really good chat, and it's really smart. So I think Perplexity is taking the cake in terms of really long. What's the SEO term? Long tail SEO, right? When you have a really long, complicated search query, I'm going to Perplexity even over ChatGPT for this right now, even though it's using ChatGPT probably under the hood. But Exa is really for research. Perplexity is more for I have a bug and I can't really search for it in a traditional search, I guess, like Google, and I don't want to chat, right? I want answers, but this is long and complicated. So, all right, that is a lot. That was a big overview of really the search market that we started with just looking at Kagi. I highly recommend checking out. They give you 100 queries for free. It's really fun. It's interesting to mix up your search engine. I think it's one of the most interesting mix-ups you could do since search is at the heart of everything. So I encourage you to check it out. And thank you so much for taking the time.